You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Randazzo live on a Friday here in beautiful Port Byron, Illinois, home of the one and only Brian Stocking. We're at Riverdale High School, taking OTA on the road once again for week 7 of the high school football season. And I got a co-host.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. You got a Polar. We both got Polar Pops.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor of Off the Air, but could be.
Could be. Yeah,
could be if they'd like to be. So we got a lot to get to. A big show today. We'll preview week 7 of the high school football season. Here in Illinois, we'll look across the river to Iowa as well. Mobile Party Xperience is here. We're grilling. We got some chicken sliders coming out soon, which will be delicious as well. We'll have some players from Riverdale and Newman coming up here tonight in Port Byron. A victory for Riverdale would get them to 5 victories on the season and clinch a playoff berth as well. So a lot to get to with that. Guy Dierikx will be out here with us, a whole bunch more. But thanks. Aren't you supposed to be working or something?
I mean, no class today at St. Ambrose, so, nothing going on in the morning, so I had to come out.
I love it. I love the fact that you're here. We're going to have a bunch of fun. When it comes to week 7, we got a lot of things to get to. When it comes to week 7, I know it's cheesy and cliche, but the games get a ton bigger. You can start looking at playoffs. I just mentioned, right? Riverdale with a victory, one more win, and they're in the playoffs either tonight or the next 2 weeks. You can start kind of mapping out who's in, who's out at this point of the season.
Well, I mean, you start in the big schools, and Geneseo and Sterling play each other tonight, which I think that's always a great rivalry game. I think compared to years past, they're pretty equal this year. I think there's a lot of parity in that league, and I think these two teams especially are really, it's going to be a back and forth game. I'm looking forward to that one. Looking at the Three Rivers, you got the last week of divisional play.
Yeah.
So Monmouth-Roseville should win their conference title outright for the second straight year. Rock Ridge, if they take care of business at Mercer County, they become a conference champion in the Three Rivers. And then those two teams play each other. Is it next week?
I think so.
it is.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, that's a lot of fun football happening in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got a lot of that going on. We'll get into the Western Big Six a little later on with Greg as well. We'll also do the little LLC. When Wethersfield continues to win football games, they've been impressive. TRAC, we'll get to more of that, kind of detail some things throughout the show here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We will start with what everybody seems to be talking about around the area. I think on social media, I've been tagged on many of things, and I understand it. Unfortunate news came yesterday. Alleman High School forfeiting their game tonight with Moline. So Moline will get the victory. Alleman will sit it out. The press release they sent out is that they're hoping to get players healthy and enough to continue and play maybe week 8, week 9. So I think that's their message, is that they're hoping this is a 1 week thing. It is something where, and I understand it. And I don't know if you knew this, Greg, but I went to Alleman, so I understand it. I get all of that, and it's different, I think, because it's not the first time, and it's a program that had to sit out for 2 years. The last 2 years there was no varsity team. They brought varsity football back this year, and I think they wanted to get on the field as much as they could throughout the entire season. I guess when news came yesterday, your first thoughts, and we'll kind of dissect this a little bit.
I mean, I think just that initial surprise and that disappointing feeling, right? I mean, I think that it's a lose-lose situation.
Yes.
That there's, it's unfortunate on the Alleman side that they could not feel like they could compete tonight and could not send a team out there with enough healthy players. And it's unfortunate, obviously, on the Moline side because they lose a football game. So their seniors, their players, lose out on one Friday night. Now, Moline has the playoffs down the road. They're going to get a few extra few extra rounds of potentially football. That's right.
They're
Let's
winning
get
the
all
whole
of them.
thing.
Let's
Yeah,
get all
let's
of them.
go.
But I think ultimately, the guaranteed games, the
Yeah.
9 weeks, that's one of them is now gone, and it's tough timing. But I think overall, it's like I said, it's a lose-lose situation because
Yeah.
both teams want to be on the field tonight. But it is what it is.
It's one of those things where in life everyone wants to place blame on something. I get it. Like when something bad happens, you want to say, why was it and who's to blame? And I get that. And you're right. Like there's unintended consequences and bad ones from Moline. I mean, you look back, I think if you look back a few years ago, I remember when Alleman forfeited the last time they played. And I'm not laughing. Like it's funny. It's just ironic that last time they had a full season, they forfeited against Moline.
Okay.
So
yeah.
like it's
yeah.
unfortunate that it's Moline again. And I'll go back to thinking like Riley Fuller. You look at that was the running back this year.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it does. Like Mark Carey leads the conference, I believe, in rushing.
yeah.
And you look at
Yeah.
those kind of things. And it was a senior night. I know they're going to have another one, their last game of the year against Galesburg, but it was a senior night. So like I get and that. So I feel horrible for the Moline fan base. And we know we cover this long enough. We know all these coaches.
Yeah.
And I have nothing. I can't talk enough about how much respect I have for all the coaches in the Western Big Six, Mike Morrissey, Coach Slemmer, Welch, Barber, everybody. So like I get their frustrations, and I think that's one thing that you can't argue with their frustrations because they are warranted obviously to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're frustrated, and I see their side of the argument. To your point, this has happened before, and unfortunately, it happened to Moline before. So we saw it. You saw some backlash on social media last night from fans, and I understand that they feel burned by Alleman. Now again, right?
Even Coach Morrissey put on social media.
And Morrissey had a couple comments on social media as well. So I understand their frustration, and talking to other coaches around the Western Big Six, they're upset.
And you can't argue with them.
No,
Right?
because I get why they're upset. They're losing a game. Their program is losing that opportunity like we talked about. But kind of going beyond that, this is a Moline home game. So they lose the gate. They lose concessions. And money isn't everything, but, I mean, it does impact, things along the way for an athletic department. So it's not ideal to lose out on one of your home games where, that money was going to be there. So I understand their frustration. I don't think there was any ill will from Alleman. I think they really ended up in a tough spot, and they just didn't feel like they could compete this week. And I think it's important to note that I can't be the one to decide. You can't be the one. Fans can't be the ones to decide, well, they should be able to play with this amount of numbers. Unless you're in the locker room, unless you're in the building with these players, with these coaches, we don't really know what the situation is. So I think a lot of people can get mad and say, well, they had X amount of guys this week and last week and whatever, but I don't know who's healthy. I don't know what the roster looks like. Only the team and the staff know. And so they had to make a decision. And I have to trust their decision as someone looking at it from the outside.
I will say I don't think, and I've seen this a lot on social media, is that they're choosing because Moline's going to destroy them not to play this game. I think they knew going to Quincy and making the 5-hour trip back and forth that probably wasn't going to be great. I think last week they knew going up to Sterling that Sterling's a fantastic football team, playing a lot better, all those kind of things. They've had big wins. I don't think they were just picking and choosing on which one to not play when it comes to those kind of things. So and we'll look at like big picture. I did have a question that a lot of people wanted to know, like, why is it 28 hours in advance? And here's what I'll say, and I know, and then like Greg, you can speak to it too. I don't think this is an option they want to do right away. I think they're trying to do everything throughout the week to have enough players so that there's not a cancellation of games. So, I mean, you look back to Sherrard earlier this year, I think it was 5 o'clock on a Thursday when they found out. This was Thursday at, I think I found out 2 o'clock, 2:30 when I kind of started hearing about it. So I think kind of the same thing. I don't know if you do it on a Monday that Moline can find a game by Friday. I don't know if there's a lot of, it's not like the NFL where there's bye weeks and people, there are some teams that might, I don't know, you know more about this, dude, you know way too much about high school football in the state, but I don't know if that's something that they could have done. And I even tried to, I think he's on his way down to golf with the Moline golf team, but I was going to try to chat with Todd Thompson a little bit more, the athletic director at Moline today, to find out if that was something that was viable. But I don't think Alleman sat by going, we're going to wait till the very last minute just to really I think they tried everything they could, and that's why the timing is what it was. Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I think they were trying to get on the field. I think they were hoping to play a game this week, and it didn't materialize. And so again, I just go back to, it's a lose-lose situation. I know why Moline's mad, and I know why other coaches around the Western Big Six feel like it hurts the conference when this continues to happen. I think Alleman wanted to play this season, and up until this week, they had been on the field. I'm hoping they'll be back on the field in week 8 and 9.
Yeah.
That's yet to be determined. But I think that, the timing is bad, but I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know if they would have canceled earlier in the week. The only team I know of in the state of Illinois, and I don't even know if they found a game or not, is a 1A school over by Champaign.
Why do you know these
Well,
things?
because I looked. I feel like defending myself here. But
if you roll in here with backpacks, like stockpile, then
I
okay,
didn't.
good. Then
No, but after the Alleman Moline news came down yesterday afternoon, I started looking around, trying to remember like who I'd seen on social media that had canceled a game. I know the Fisher Bunnies over by Champaign, like I said, the eastern part of the state, they at least canceled week 8 or week 7. I don't know if they've canceled the rest of their season.
Yeah.
So I looked at who their opponent was, and it's this Mowequa Central A&M. I don't know if they found a replacement, but either way, that's an enrollment school of 300-ish, a 1A, 2A school.
yeah, they're not going to come up to play
And they're
Moline.
only a 2-4 record right now. So like, that's not a good fit for Moline, unfortunately. So I don't know. There may be some other games floating out there, teams that don't have a game this week. I didn't know of any off the top of my head. So I don't know what you could have done, even if you'd have found out on Monday, I guess.
And if you're watching and want to chime in on the chat, please do so. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not looking at the chat right now. I got a lot of things going on. Some days I can, some days I can't. But honestly, please chime in if you're on X and all that kind of stuff.
Now that you have an engaging co-host, you don't have time for
I
these
know.
things.
I got to look down and be like, oh, what's going on? Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I pre-record some of the segments. So that gives me more chance to chat during the show as well. Big picture, I will look at a couple things too. Coach Barber is a new coach, and I know like people will look and kind of point fingers and try to figure out what happened. He came in, what was it like? I'm trying to think. It was May or June.
It's probably May. Yeah, probably late
when
May.
he was named the head coach, because you had a coach, Jeff Schmalbach, who was the coach for 2 years during the rebuild, and in the 11th hour he left. So you have a guy that came in, and he had 6 weeks to get ready for a season, and it was just it was unfortunate. I know that and I've had people say to me like, hey, in January they announced they were back, and some people questioned it, and I just didn't like the timing of the questioning. Like, I get it, I got the whole thing, and I even talked to some coaches where I'm like, I understand the concerns with them coming back and if they'll be able to play games. I just like in January I just thought the kids could have 24 hours to be happy that they were back before we started questioning it. That was my whole questioning of things. So I think if you would have told me in January that Schmalbach left at the last second and they had to bring in a new coach at the last second, it continued to be not what I think Alleman expected when they announced in the wintertime that they were coming back. They had a coaching change. Nobody thought that was going to happen and all those kind of things. So again, and I know there's probably coaches listening to this and all those kind of, and I'll say this too, Alleman tried to get into the TRAC in 2023. That was voted down. So I don't know. So let's look big picture. I don't know if there's a solution. I know the one that I bring up that I get yelled at about is that maybe Alleman's out of the Western Big Six for football.
Yeah.
But you got. I mean, I look at it as an Alleman alum with a kid there and everything else. They're in there's successful programs. Very successful programs in the building. The girls basketball team, girls soccer team, baseball team was outstanding last year. Shout out to Thomas Smith, who I know is watching the show. There's some really successful teams when it comes to that. So they don't want to leave the entire Western Big Six. Maybe they just get out for football only. I know that's a slippery slope when it comes to then what other schools, what other sports they get let out on, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess my rambling point is, I don't know what the solution is right now, and I'm an Alleman guy. I kind of know more than maybe what some outside people looking in know, and I don't know what the solution is right now.
To me, that seems like a viable option. I don't know why that hasn't been. I guess it's been explored. I don't know why it hasn't been really discussed and really broken down and made an option. I will say, hearing from coaches, people in the Western Big Six,
they don't like that.
They don't like that idea.
No, I get it.
And to their point, why are we letting a school dictate and pick and choose what sport? I guess my counterpoint would be that football's kind of a different beast. Mm-hmm. It takes more players. It's a sport that can be, more players are likely to get banged up, get hurt, and be sitting out. So numbers can dwindle quickly. But I don't know.
Probably harder to rebuild a football program than a basketball program or any other program that might be. I mean, just numbers wise.
So again, to your point, I don't know what the answer is, because I kind of think that would be a step in the right direction. But when I hear from coaches who are in the Western Big Six and they talk to their athletic directors and they're more in than I am, they don't like it. So I respect that. I respect that.
And I'll reiterate, and you know it too. We've we know these coaches.
Yeah.
And I have the utmost respect for everyone except for Mike Morrissey because he's the hottest coach in the Western Big Six. So, like, I guess he just sits at home and he's hot. He just sits at home and looks in the mirror tonight, right?
Oh, God.
I kid. Mike knows I love him. So it is. I try to, like, joke when, like, things are, and my wife will tell me sometimes you just can't joke. Well, I'm sorry. So anyways, hopefully, like, I get it. I get the Moline frustration. I think they have a lot to look forward to. And I do look down the line and I look at, like, a United Township that's hopefully going to get into the playoffs and looking for wins. And if they do have a Week 9 game against an Alleman, they don't want to find out on Thursday that they're in the playoffs. They probably want to do it on the field and, like, so I totally get all those kind of things. And so it's an unfortunate situation. We love your feedback throughout the show. I'll kind of look and see and we can chat a little more about it, but we don't want to, we said we weren't going to talk very long about it. And just because we don't want to, like, there's a lot of
it's a bigger discussion that will
happen.
happen, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, which will add to this discussion. So I think that my whole point is that as a media member, I don't want to point fingers at either side. I think it's an unfortunate situation. It's a lose-lose. I respect opinions on both ends, and so I'm just trying to. And I'm hoping for the best, I guess.
What some people will say is there's facts, and they're unfortunate. I always said it was unintended consequences or repercussions and people don't. I think the first time around we kind of talked a little bit where it happened to Sherrod earlier this year, and it's a different beast because I don't feel like there was this type of backlash for that, but I also know that this isn't just a first time thing.
That's the thing.
I think the biggest thing is, like, this has now been a 4-year thing at Alleman.
That's probably the bigger
where
issue.
do they get? And honestly, they're a school of 300 kids. Like, what's their viability in the Western Big Six? Even if what it does is it makes the success they had in the past, like, even more impressive. Like, I go back, I'm like, how did Dave DeJager and Todd DePorter and Mike Tracy and all those guys? And I'm not bashing coaches now, but, like, it's hard to do. Yeah. So, we'll kind of put it to bed like that, and who knows? Like, if we have time to kill later on, maybe we'll chat. But we do have a lot to get to. We got some players from Riverdale getting ready to join us here in just a second. Guy Dierikx will be here as well. We'll break down the Western Big Six and what's left in the Western Big Six and other conferences. It's nice because I usually do my pre-recorded view from the West. I feel bad. I feel bad for Mitch.
Yeah, he's watching, I'm sure. He's sitting around. He's watching.
I'm waiting for I'm a Mitch guy shirt. So, Mitch, I know you miss me. I'll see you tonight. I promise, all those kind of things. Talk about that real quick before we go to break. View from the West Instant Reacts podcast tonight, 10:15. And, like, I don't want to pat you on the back too hard, but, like, it's really fun and good. Like, I think people are really enjoying it.
Yeah. What I thought was really cool is Kyle Kampmeyer from NUICfootball.com put out a post on X last week promoting our show, and I appreciate it. But what he called it was, like, this is not your traditional Saturday morning coaches show. This is like that times 10.
We were talking about camels last week. What in the world?
So we go live every Friday, 10:15. We're usually on for, we've been pushing 2 hours sometimes now. And it's just live with coaches, reactions, scoreboards, some highlights thrown in there, and just getting, that football banter that we're all doing on a Friday night anyway.
As a person that's ventured into the untraditional media, that's where I really, and I'm not bashing anything else, that's where things are going to. People want to talk more about it. We spent years doing it. I spent years doing it where it's a highlight-based show. Those are awesome, and people want to see them, but people also want to talk about their team and why it is and all that kind of stuff. Well, and I feel like, not me to an extent, but Mitch and Greg, like, you've gotten to the point where you know enough about what you're talking about that people should probably listen to what you're talking about because, like I just said, like, you're like, oh, the central blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, how do you know these kind of things?
I don't know.
They love high school football, so their expertise is great. And then the coaches are personable. Like, it's not just like, what did you see in drive number 2? Or, like, all that kind of stuff. It's making fun of, and usually I get thrown under the bus, whether I'm there or not.
That's fair.
So it's good. It's fun. So
I love to your point, like, I love having the open-endedness. We can go as long as we want, really,
And we do.
Sometimes it drags a little near the end. Mitch is always there to call us out when it's like, all right, boys, we've gone too long.
Mitch wasn't there last week, but there has been a week where Mitch is like, all right, guys, it's midnight.
We're
you
done.
guys got to wrap it up. So he's like the dad.
Probably.
I guess, something like that. So
Hi, Mitch.
We got a lot more to get to. We got some players from Riverdale coming up. As we mentioned, it's Riverdale and Newman. Really good matchup in the TRAC here tonight. We'll talk about that. Whole bunch more. We got the grill about ready to rock and roll. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Actually, we're out of the Quad Cities. We're in Port Byron, Stocking, Illinois. We'll be back right after this. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
So you're going to sit in the middle of me and Greg. And you guys can just follow me.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007. An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss pre-arrangements.
Just be by myself. Look at me, I got people.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza
Wait, do I
in
like hold this
Silvis
thing to talk?
has you covered.
Just,
Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Wait, so I say...
Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo. We'll get you along the way. We're at Riverdale High School right now. Greg Armstrong joining me today as a co-host. I'm going to let you talk for a second because I got to mic him. So,
All right, yeah, so we're here live, Riverdale High School, Port Byron.
Port Byron, Stocking, Illinois.
That's right. He should really come sub out here instead of the Davenport School District. He should come sub out here. Anyway, he's a proud Riverdale Ram alum, but we got Jackson Tegler here and teammates.
Yeah. Thank you for getting out of class and doing this.
Yeah.
Is this weird? Like all of a sudden, like go outside and go talk to two strange dudes on their YouTube show in the parking lot. But it's been a fun season for you guys. Just kind of talk about what's it been like, considering everything you guys have dealt with here to kind of build this thing and be successful here in your senior season.
Yeah, a few years ago, we didn't have a team, and then you just see. Then the next year we went winless, and then last year we had 4 wins, and now this year we already have 4 wins with still 3 games left on the season. So we just keep building, and we're getting a lot better every week.
This is a really competitive league in the Three Rivers. What do you guys talk about tonight? An opportunity to play a really good Newman team at home. What does it mean to you and your group to kind of be in these situations and know that you can compete with some really good football teams?
Yeah, like in years past, we've really never been able to compete in teams like this that are really good. They're ranked in 1A, and, they're a really good team, and I think we're a really good team too. And being able to compete with them, it's kind of a blessing because, yeah.
You look at this team, you've watched it grow. What makes this team special? Offensively, what do you guys do out there? What are the things that make Friday night special for the Rams right now?
It makes it special because even the guys behind me, we're all super close. We hang out outside of sports and, playing a Friday night game with all my friends, my closest friends, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about what, what's been the focus this week. And, Newman's a good football team on both sides of the ball. They play really stringy defense. What have you focused on? What are things coaches are telling you think that will help you tonight?
So last week we didn't have a great week of practice. So I think this week going into practice, we knew we had to be really focused because of how good they are. Just had to be really focused, had to be on top of everything. And I think this week we have had a lot better.
Jackson, before you keep going anymore, it looks like you have like bodyguards behind you. Can you introduce these ugly guys behind you?
So this is Jackson Fritch. That's Abram Career. And then that's Marcus Bennett.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, obviously it's been a fun season. What's it like in the school right now? Because there is excitement, and we've been around it. We've seen it on social media, all of those kind of things. What's it like on a Friday at school? Because I think the community's really backing and bought into what you guys are doing.
At school, I mean, everyone's talking about the game from first period to seventh period. You know, everyone's looking forward to it.
But they're focusing on classes, right, Jackson?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, you can say it. You're not off the hook yet.
yet.
What do you get? We talked about Newman a little bit.
Yeah.
Last week was a little disappointing. You guys scored a bunch of points, and you mentioned practice. What's the difference maybe this week in practice? Because it's sometimes practice leads up to that game and stuff like that. Was there a refocus this week practice-wise after a loss last week to your Propstown?
Yeah, we really had to lock in again this week. Get on each other maybe a little bit more, you know, compete with each other, and I think we got a lot better this week.
Okay, tell me about this team off the field. Like, I know you guys are super close and all those kind of things. What makes this group of guys close? I know you guys have been through a lot in your high school career. What makes this group special off the field?
I think it makes it special because, you know, we battle through adversity a lot, I think, and I mean, on and off the...
No, you're good. He's like, I want to get out of here. Just shut up, Matt. No, you're good.
I mean, we're always hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, we're pushing each other every day in the classroom and at practice. I think, we're just...
Tell me about your head coaches over there. He can't hear you. How important is that dude to what you guys have been through, what you guys are doing now, all that kind of stuff? And you can tell me he's terrible if you want to.
Nah, he's an amazing dude. He pushes us every day, you know. He always is bringing us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's an amazing dude.
All right, this team, when it comes to, I always like to ask these questions, is there like a game day ritual routine? What's your game day ritual routine? Do you have like music you're listening to? Do you have any superstitions when it comes to stuff you have to do besides talk to two goofy guys in the parking lot in the middle of the day?
I normally always take a shower when I get home. I like doing that.
Okay.
I feel like I kind of need a shower.
Is that before or after the game?
That's before.
Okay, really?
Before and after.
Okay, yeah. We assumed,
yeah. And then always before the game, I like changing my socks.
Really?
Yeah, I always like having a fresh pair of socks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Do you guys have a place, like I know we had the Rock Ridge kids on a couple weeks ago, and they're Buffalo Wild Wings dudes. They go to Buffalo Wild Wings and eat. And if you guys get a big victory, like is there a place everybody goes and hangs out or goes eats, or what's the post-game tradition, I guess, for this team?
We normally all go to McDonald's. Yeah, that's the place.
It's Port Byron. Where at? There's not one in Port Byron.
It's in LeClaire. It's like
right
across the river. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what's your you just got done playing a football game.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're spending $20 worth of like McChickens and nuggets, and what's the most you've eaten after this game? Like a game. What's your order?
I normally get a quarter pounder, 10 nuggets, like a freezy thing, and like a drink. Yeah.
No fries?
Yeah, I'll get fries with the meal. Yeah.
Just understood. That's understood. So, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was going to say, you know, just kind of looking big picture, we talked about kind of where this program has come from now as players on the field, and obviously still more work to be done this year, but kind of looking at where you're at and the culture of the program. Do you see the little kids when they're at games, or do you interact with them? I know you have like a youth night where you bring them all out. Like, what's it mean to you to kind of be that, the high school kid now, and these other kids are seeing, man, Riverdale football's cool and people are here and it's, a big excitement?
It means a lot because I remember when I was in 7th and 8th grade, like 7th and younger, and I remember going to the games, looking at all the older kids and like admiring them and like wanting them to be me. And now when I'm on the field and I see the younger kids, it kind of means a lot. It kind of puts me in the shoes of like where I used to be.
You're getting comfortable. I think you do the whole show with us, right?
Yeah.
I think you're kind of getting your. Before we let you off the hook and bring another guy in here, is there a I don't want to say class clown, but is there a goofball on the team? Is there somebody that if you need a joke or a laugh or maybe drives Coach Dierikx crazy? Is there a goofball on the team? Is it you?
I don't think so.
Elliot?
Yeah, Elliot. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way?
A good way.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said a good way, not a bad way. So, all right, you're off the hot seat. The cold seat. You guys got to wear clothes, shorts and everything. Who's up next?
I'll go.
All right, I'll go. It's like this is similar to me getting the boys' haircut. I got 4 kids. Who's next? Yeah. I'll go. Say your name.
I'm Marcus Bennett, left guard and defensive end.
All right, I want to talk with these big uglies, literally. No, I kid. But like your guys' trench. I did a game a couple weeks ago against Orion for MediaCom out here, and it was, I think you rushed for 400 and some yards. And I know that those guys up front, and we don't get to call their names enough, but you guys have done some work. What's it like up there and winning the trenches? It's a big battle. It's an important part of the game, isn't it, for you guys?
I think this year we focused a lot on communication throughout the line, always pointing out what guy we have to block and just One of my best friends is also the right guard, and then the center, and just, I don't know, the whole line, we're all really close, and like we all live together outside of school and just got that really good team chemistry, you know, and just like, I don't know, that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk more about that. You know, the emphasis that Coach Dierikx wants to have is, you know, you have the skilled players and the good running game. How much was the focus this year to know that you got to win those battles up front? That's going to create everything you do on offense. What was kind of the talk going in, and how do you feel now 6, 7 weeks in?
I feel really good. I feel like the trenches have been doing really good on the run game, but not only the run game, the pass game. Just like some of my best friends are the running backs too, and it's just like I just want to do good for them. I want to make holes for them. I want them to succeed.
Do they give you the love back?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing all the work. Like, do they like watches? They buy you dinner? Are you getting McDonald's free after the game when these guys are doing?
I don't know about free McDonald's, but I'll get a good pat on the back after a touchdown.
Well, get a McFlurry. Forget a pat in the back. Get a McFlurry after the game or something like that.
Okay, so I got to ask them the highlights when you see like the running back break around the corner and he's going to the end zone. Are you the lineman that's like sprinting all the way to the end zone to get that, like, you know, dap up? Or
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, you got
usually run down the field screaming.
Take me to tonight's game, and Newman's a challenge. They're a really good football team, state ranked in 1A, all of those kind of things. What have you seen on film from them? And obviously, I think this team's got to play a little better than they did last week in order to beat a good Newman team this week.
I think that Newman's obviously very technique oriented, but I think when I look at their D-line, I just think like we can take them. I think like we're a very physical team, and we have the size on them definitely up front.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, talk about, you know, having the opportunity here to go up against a really good Newman football team at home, kind of knowing where your season's at. That it's just exciting, right, to have this opportunity to potentially win a really big game here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play a ranked team. I don't want to play like a no. I don't want to diss on
Other
Mendoza.
teams.
Don't say any
Okay.
schools' names. Coach will get mad.
All right, but I'm really excited to play against a ranked team and just prove ourselves. We went against Rock Ridge. Didn't pan out quite the way we wanted to, but this is another chance to prove ourselves against a good team.
Well, that was the game. You guys were hung around in that game, and it was kind of a weird weather night, but, you know, you were in that game for a while, I believe, correct?
I think it was a bad start. Other than the bad start, I think you guys played well.
I think it's kind of a reoccurring theme with us. We kind of come out flat in the first quarter, and then we really turned it up after that.
That's coaching. That's bad coaching. Am I right? Like we're all in agreement. So does anybody have? I meant to ask. Does anybody have a Guy Dierikx impression?
Ooh.
Like he's got that. I mean, you know what I mean.
Leave that up to Elliot.
Oh,
I'll
Elliot,
leave it up
okay.
to- Can we get Elliot out of class? Coach says it.
You're gonna get somebody in trouble
You guys
here.
got everybody in trouble. And what's your McDonald's order?
It's usually a double corner pounder, a chocolate milkshake, large sweet tea, large fries, and a 10-piece McNugget.
Yes.
Yeah, there we
so
go.
what's that come to?
About $22.19.
About.
Give or take a cent. 22-19. I absolutely love it. I love it. I want to talk to you about being inside. And days like today. What is a game day like for you guys inside? Are you rock stars walking around the people talking to you about the game and all that kind of stuff? Or do people leave you alone knowing that it's a big game tonight? Besides us who annoy you.
Compared to last year when people didn't really think much of us, no one was really talking about the game in school. But this year, some of my friends that don't play football kind of know what we're all about, and they're always asking me like, how do you feel about the game? How's it going to go? Are you excited? Stuff like that.
Are you guys juniors or seniors?
Juniors.
That's what I thought he said, juniors. So obviously there's more football they play next year, but do you remember back to your freshman year and watching the varsity games or being around the varsity games an 0-9 team and even as eighth graders getting to come here knowing that, like, are they going to have a team? Are they not going to have a team? Do you remember that thought process? And take me back to that.
I remember, so let's go back to my 8th grade year, when they didn't have a varsity team. That got me a little worried because football was my favorite sport. I was just like, I don't want to be going to a school that doesn't have a varsity team.
Mm.
And then when I'm a freshman, I was on JV and I went to all the varsity games. They went 0-9. I was like, I'm not loving the future of the program right now. And then when I was a sophomore, I was starting left guard. And then we started to turn things around a little bit, had a shot at playoffs, didn't make it. And now we're here now with really great things to be doing, and I'm just very excited for the future now.
How much fun is it to be part of that turnaround and know that you're making an impact and it's being seen on the field here?
It's very fun. I just love being part of a winning Riverdale team for once, and it just feels good. I hope that this tradition starts to last a long time here.
A couple more before we let you go. Was there a moment, and maybe anybody, was there a moment or a game that seeing is believing? You know what I mean? When you're 0-9 and you haven't won, was there a game that you remember going like, okay, this is going to work. We're turning this thing around. Was there a moment or a game that you remember that maybe as a sophomore?
As a sophomore, I think it was definitely the EP game. We were definitely the underdogs there. It was our Hoko, and we wanted it bad. We didn't have anything to lose. We just went out there, left it all on the field, and we came up on top 21-18. And I was just like, all right, this is a team that's projected to go to playoffs. Maybe we have a shot here.
And this is for everybody. Do you guys know who Brian Stocking is?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Is he like a legend around here? Is there a banner up or anything like that, or a
I tried to find the trophy.
a golden
but
microphone or something?
That's right.
He is. There's nobody who loves his Riverdale Rams more than Brian Stocking.
Yeah, I love it.
So hey, you guys did a fantastic job. I hope I got you. What class were you in?
PE.
Oh, well, that's no fun. What's your next? Was there a hard class coming up?
Chem 2.
When?
Probably this period right
All right, we'll extend a little bit.
I'm gonna stay here and talk instead of going to Chem 2.
No, can you imagine? No. It's got to be awful. It's got to be awful. Well, guys, we wish you guys the best of luck. Make you guys go back inside. Wear pants. It's cold.
No, it's great.
I know.
This is
Greg's
perfect.
Greg's the tough guy. You got a coach over there who's the tough guy too. So best of luck tonight. We appreciate you guys doing this, and I think Tim's supposed to be grilling. When I don't know if they're on.
Yeah.
We'll get some food for you if you guys go back. Now, just so you know, anybody who eats doesn't lose. We're perfect in the season. No pressure at all. So we got more to get to. We'll take a quick break. The head coach and athletic director, and what else does he do? Everything. Guy Dierikx will join. I think so. Yeah, PE, all that kind of stuff. He will join us after the break. We'll be right back on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.
Give me the keys.
All
Learning
right.
to drive.
Thanks, boys.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Student,
Yep. You too.
And yes,
Yeah.
the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Xperience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Xperience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Xperience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We are live at Riverdale High School, off the air on the road as we get ready for week 7 of the high school football season. And I have a co-host, which makes my life so much easier. Greg Armstrong from View from the West joining us. And we're now joined by the head coach, athletic director, PE teacher, janitor. What else? Anything else you're doing?
A few other things. Other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Guy Dierikx joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We're going to pop your mic on and kind of get that ready for you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
What are these Fridays like, not just as a head football coach, but obviously you have the athletic director responsibilities. You got knuckleheads like Greg and I saying, hey, coming out to the parking lot. What's a Friday football like for you?
Exciting, busy, jam-packed. We do have a lot of help, though. I mean, our administration does a great job, and many hands are able to step in and really help out with setting things up. And it's kind of a total community effort, from the other PE teachers bringing classes out to set up the field and helping with parking. And
so you just make everybody else do your work.
Well, I mean, delegation, right? Isn't that the sign of a good leader?
Yes.
Being able to delegate appropriately?
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, that's fascinating. I'm going to have you move up a little bit towards the microphone just because I don't know. Those other guys were loud. Greg's really loud, too. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Talk about, just we're talking about Fridays out here. Talk about the culture change, over the last few years. What's it mean to you as a Riverdale Ram, alum and former football player here to see the buzz around campus now, on a Friday?
It's something that I've always dreamed about. I told the guys the other day, that for me, one of my two goals was either I wanted to coach at the college level or I wanted to come back to Riverdale. And to have that opportunity to be here, and to be so close to some of those goals that I grew up wanting to accomplish, means a lot. It means a lot.
That's awesome.
Greg, I'm going to have you the third knob. There you go.
I can be louder. Do
louder.
I need to be louder?
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, that's all right.
Greg doesn't need to be louder.
No,
Greg does never need a microphone in his life. It's a good game tonight and a really good football team coming to town. What do you guys know about Newman? Obviously, state ranked, really good, and the guys, I liked it because they talked about they just want an opportunity to play some of the best teams. And as a coach, you have to love the fact that your guys, they're just looking for an opportunity to see how good they are against some of the best teams in the state.
Absolutely. I mean, the Blue Machine's coming to town, and they have that history, that tradition behind them, and the history. We've competed well against them in years past, and so just another opportunity we know who they are, we know what they're going to do, the tradition that they've brought with them and going to bring with them. So another opportunity for us to go out there and test ourselves. In order for us to get to where we want to be, we have to be battle tested, and EP definitely did that to us last week, Rock Ridge, and we've been in some games, but really it's about understanding how to get in and out of those difficult situations to prepare us for that deep playoff run later on.
Absolutely.
Coach, it was a tough game last week. You have to go on the road. I believe it was their homecoming, so there's a lot happening, there, and it was a battle. I mean, that was a back-and-forth game, and you end up coming up short, but man, that's kind of what we thought this conference would be all about, would be really teams with a lot of parity going till the final second of the game. What do you take away from that one? And, you never want a loss, but was it a good kind of gut check and say, hey, guys, there's a lot of excitement here, but we still got things ahead of us to take care of?
Absolutely. We knew going into that game last year, we kind of stole one from them on our homecoming night, 21-18, and so we knew that they were going to be ready to go. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance always behind it, and you don't want to, not show out for your home community on homecoming with everybody being there. Our wrestling program has a saying that, loss now is a win later. And so, if you take those opportunities and learn from your mistakes, learn from your losses, to be able to learn that and apply that to, okay, what do we do well? What do we not do well? Films, it's never as bad as you think it is. It's never as good as you think it is when you lose. But being able to take those opportunities, okay, hey, this is what we need to learn from. Take those lessons that we learned and apply it to where we're at now, and hopefully, be in a position now where, okay, we're ready to move forward, all guns a-blazing and ready to go from the beginning for 4 quarters rather than just 3. It's kind of been a little difficult situation for us, but we're learning, we're growing up, right before everybody's eyes right here.
That sounds so mature and well said. I wonder if that's what he was thinking right after the game last week. I don't know if it was probably as calm and well said as what it is, but it's the truth. Is there anything you can do as a head coach to fast starts, to get things? Is that just, I don't know if there's things you can pick and do, but it is like if you struggle starting fast, is there something you can change, tweak? Do you want the ball first? Is there anything that you get too minute with it, or do you just yell at them more before the game?
As we've gone through this program, right? We've been through ups and downs, and we've had conversations, and really our conversations and practices on Mondays and Tuesdays are almost therapeutic for me too, to get some things out and just to hear back from them. And over these last 10 years, it's been a good piece that I've added to our coaching staff, and just hearing from them. Okay, what did we do well? What did we not do very well? What can we improve on? And so we give our thoughts as coaching staffs. They give theirs, and we've had conversations where some of the kids in years past, we want to do our hoot and holler drill. So we want to be a little bit crazy right beforehand, and so we've done all of that. I think really it's just part of that maturation process of growing up before everybody here, and understanding of what we need to do, come in a business, take care of our job, and move forward and be ready to go from that side of things.
Talk about getting ready to go every Friday night. There was a lot of expectation coming in this year because you had a lot of returning talent. What did you see in the start of the season that you were really looking forward to, and kind of now that we're more than halfway through, what has worked? What are you trying to improve on? I guess kind of a double question there.
I mean, the physicality in the trenches has been something that we really worked on, and we knew, all year long, the way that those kids have been working hard, been, doing a great job in the weight room, their dedication and their leadership that they've shown over the course of these last, not really last year, of their growth of these last 3 years here. And so physicality has been a big thing. We didn't invent it, but, the forward pass for us is a new thing.
Yeah.
Having people like, Jackson was on earlier, it's, being able to, that Abe has a nice relationship with him, and with Kane being able to throw the ball a little bit has been something exciting for us, being able to move forward. And so, as I'm growing in this position, we talked at the beginning of the year too, there's a lot of things that I'm learning, kind of going back to the offensive side of the ball, then defensive side of the ball. And so understanding that growth and being better today than we were yesterday, being better week 7 than we were week 1. And so just continuing to grow, and those opportunities have been pretty exciting.
You mentioned the forward pass, and there has been, and I got to do a MediaCom game out here a few weeks ago, and the forward pass is a thing, but I look at Newman and I look at Riverdale tonight, and I think this might be the fastest game in the history of high school football. Both teams love to win up front, run the football, those kind of things. Is it which guys, like you look at the trenches, I think it's a fascinating matchup, because usually games like that is one up front. Kind of talk about that tonight, because there's definitely a style when it comes to tonight's game.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to try and impose their will. Looking at Newman, they've started to spread things out a little bit more and do some things. They've got some great speed in the backfield. So, again, just kind of pick and choose, kind of pushing a little bit here and there. Where are we at? What can we do? What can we take advantage of? But ultimately, kind of what it came back to last week, we got back to who we were, being physical in the trenches, and that's what got us back in the game. We had to kind of slow it down a little bit. We were down 14-0, but have that conversation with Abe. It's like, hey, take control of the huddle. You make those discussions, but understand there's not one play that's going to get us 14 points. Yeah. It's going to be the cumulative effort of us just chipping away at this thing. And so we did. We went after there, and Gage had a real nice series and it finished off with a touchdown run. And so understanding, hey, we can do this. Let's get back to what we knew how to do and be able to expand from that point.
You got a bee flying around you.
How are there bees in October?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. But go ahead.
So, Coach, players kind of talked about, they were honest. They said maybe we didn't have the best week of practice going into the Erie Prophetstown game. This week feels like a better week of practice. You've been coaching long enough to know that, what does, that's kind of a cliche, right? Like, it was a great week of practice. How much does that go into a Friday night? Like, does it make do you see it, on a Friday night?
I think it depends a little bit from program to program, where you're at, maybe what you have established, what you don't have established. But as we're in this building program still, the building stage of our program, it's getting those kids to know and understand and buy into, hey, we can't just show up, right? People aren't going to lay down, here comes Riverdale, because for a while, Riverdale for them has been a win. And so we need to make sure that we do take care of the things during the week. We need to work during the week so we can get paid on Friday night. Not one of those opportunities to just show up and something is going to be given to us or handed to us. So, we had a better week of practice. They're a little bit more locked in, a little bit more focused. And those are those types of things that, as a coach, you like to see, makes you feel a little bit better than before. And so just, the excitement and getting back to it of, hey, we got here because we worked hard. Yeah. We earned it, and we went out there and took it. And so getting back to that stage has been a good part for us this week and an exciting part moving forward.
Guy Dierikx joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, you look at it, and we talk to the kids. I loved listening to them talk about the growth of this program and watching it when they were 8th graders. They were the juniors, and there was no team. And then they were freshmen, and they were 0-9. And I asked them when they realized maybe that sophomore year for them, the 4 and 5 year last year, when did they realize that this was working? And you know what it is. It's seeing is believing. You can tell kids until you're blue in the face, this is going to work. They need to see the results happen on the field sometimes. Was there a point last year that you realized, they mentioned the EP game, was there a point last year that you realized, hey, this is going to work? I knew you believed it, but seeing is believing. Was there a point that you remember last year going, okay, we've turned this thing around?
We've talked a lot about adversity in our program and kind of what we've gone through, having fortitude, courage through pain or adversity, and kids can recite all that stuff back to you. And for us, it was that EP game. We had a little bit of adversity going into it. Big crowd coming back. EP, back in the day, EP was always the big rival for us old timers. But for us to kind of steal that game, to come in and be a part of that, just kind of set that tone, and for those kids to know and understand, hey, we can do this. And so then kind of getting back to that point and having that excitement to be a chance in that playoff race for them to know and understand, hey, this is what it takes, this is what playoff football is about, is kind of that turning point of our program.
This will be your last week of TRAC Rock Division play. Before the season, I think Mitch and I agreed, and we talked, before at the live event too, that this was going to be a league with a lot of parity and a lot of really good football. So now you've seen everybody except for Newman. Obviously, you've seen him a lot on film this week. But what did you take away from the year, from this division this year?
Just an opportunity. Teams that, they're going to compete week in and week out, and see different styles. If you can get out of this league, you feel like it doesn't matter. You saw EP last year. Gave a heck of a ball game in their week 1 opponent
on
against
the road
the top
against the top seed.
Yeah. And so if you can get out of this, then you're going to be battle tested, and anything can happen. It's a new season. You're 0-0, so an opportunity. We just haven't had that opportunity to get out. We feel like we bring a different style and can adapt a few different ways to a couple different styles or teams or whatever that looks like. And so if we can get out, we feel like we have an opportunity to go out there, and this league is going to provide you those opportunities to learn, to grow, to get better. As long as you can stay healthy and get out of it, then anything can happen.
I do have to ask you, we started the show talking about Alleman forfeiting in the Western Big Six, and it was ironic that we were coming here today because it's a school that didn't have varsity football and had to rebuild it. Also, Tom Barber, the head coach at Alleman, is somebody you know very well. So not to put you on the spot or anything like that, but when you hear that news yesterday, kind of what goes through your mind is, as a head coach that's been through it, luckily is out of it now, and obviously a guy you know really well, Coach Barber, and what he's doing, which I think he's doing a really good job at Alleman in the situation that he got put into with very short time to get prepared.
Yeah, Tom's a great friend of mine. We worked hard, and we talk, probably about every other week or so, and how the program's going. And, he's doing everything the right way. He's working hard. Kids are buying into the program. In the community, he's getting out, doing that community work, and just building up that way. Feel for him. Felt for Sherrard earlier. Anytime you go, you don't wish that on anybody. Okay. And so, it's a tough situation. Everybody involved, the Moline program, that's tough. You get to that point where that's the worst, that's the last thing that you want to do, and you try as best as you can and hold off to that point to pull that trigger. But ultimately, in the back of your mind, you have to do what's best for your community, your program, your kids, in order to take that step forward. And so, I know it stinks for that Moline community, to not have that game tonight, but at the same time, Tom's was doing in the best interest for his, and I think, he's got the best interest for the program, the kids at heart.
We hear so often win-win situations. That's what I've thought about the last 12 hours. It's just a lose-lose situation, unfortunately. I get it and I understand it, but nobody's happy about what's going on, and there's consequences on both sides of things. So it is disappointing, but hopefully Alleman can get back on track and play again week 8, week 9. I want to ask you about these goofballs because we brought some fun things up there and everything like that. Nobody had a Guy Dierikx impression, which I thought was
well, at least not in front of him.
Yeah. Is there a class clown on the team? I mean that in the nicest way. Is there a guy that maybe when you need some comic relief gives it to you? Probably sometimes when he doesn't need it.
We have a few of them.
They said
Elliot.
Elliot, yeah. So the last team dinner of every year, we do coach impersonations. And so last year we had a couple good ones. So they must not have wanted to give theirs away. Yeah, we give the seniors an opportunity, their last chance, an opportunity to razz the coaches a little bit. So
these were juniors.
Right. They knew a little. Yeah, so they're coming in. But yeah, we do. We have great guys that, and that was one of the talks this year. It's understanding. Okay, we want to have fun with it. Yeah. When the whistle blows and that 6 seconds, we need to be focused. Yeah. But that opportunity that this is a game. And our community's seen, most recently, a little bit of troubles, I guess, with some things going on. And so kids to understand, hey, this is a game. Using this to have these opportunities to learn from it, but understanding that life outside of it is a lot bigger. And so, we're playing for people not just that, has the jersey on or wore the jersey beforehand, but for a lot of community to give them hope, to see maybe what we've been through and are at now, that people can get through a lot of different things in life.
Coach, I kind of want to ask you about now that you're, 10 years in at Riverdale, correct?
Yep.
And then before
Man,
that,
it's been that long.
Yeah, it has.
I remember Wise Muscatine.
That's
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
So that was what I was just going to get into, like going from Riverdale, from Davenport North, and from Louisa Muscatine on the Iowa side, and just in terms of managing a team and kind of being the the leader of the program. How is Guy Dierikx different today, coaching?
Are you looking at my questions?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly where I was going with this.
So how are you different now on a Friday compared to at Louisa Muscatine or at
evolution of
North?
Guy
Or,
Dierikx.
yeah.
Well, I mean, my waistline is expanded. My hairline has receded.
You and me both, brother.
But that excitement, I think what you see on the sidelines, a lot is still the same.
Yeah.
That excitement. I think you learn different ways. I'm a different coach now than I was at when I got that first job at 22.
Yeah.
And so it's baptism by fire a little bit, but you got a group of guys that you learn from, and you make a lot of mistakes. But, still, a couple weeks ago, Austin Bowling, I went to his wedding.
I was going to ask. Those guys are still prevalent.
Yeah, and those guys, and they're seeing a lot of the coach Justin Putz and Andrew Gins that I coached with from the outset, having that opportunity to still get back and kind of talk about that. But that's what it's about, building those relationships. And what it comes down to when you go from L&M to the Jordan Trowerses of Davenport North to, our kids that we have here, kids are kids. And you got to find out what makes them tick, what motivates them. I'd like to say the weight room music has changed a little bit from place to place, but really a lot of it's the same anyways.
If they go old school, it's the same.
Exactly, right?
Coach, I don't want you to go through your post-game ritual with us. I don't think that'd be the best idea. No, I'm kidding. But those guys go to McDonald's. I love listening to their orders and all that kind of stuff as well. Are you superstitious on game day? Do you have, I need to wear this sweatshirt or do this type of thing? I love when I ask that question. People are like, I'm not superstitious, but I do have to do this every single time. Well, that's superstition. You know that. Are you that guy or no?
No, I need about 10 minutes by myself. With all the different things going on, I just need about 10 minutes to kind of get locked into.
Can we record that sometime?
Well, not just I'm dance fighting in my office, clothes.
That's what we want.
I don't know what you are, but in my mind, that's
what we want.
Yep, take it how you want to. I need about 10 minutes just to kind of get locked in. But other than that, listening to music and talking to the guys and just kind of getting a clear head so that we can get focused in on what we need to do.
I love it. What's the music?
Anything.
Yeah. Upbeat though, right?
Anything.
So many kids nowadays, and some coach classical, they want to calm down, which I think was a little bit different, a little weird. So, what's the rest of your day look like?
Well, a few more classes, a couple more tests to give. Maybe sweep the cafeteria floor.
I appreciate you getting up from your nap.
The siesta, my midday siesta. I told you I had 10 minutes to myself.
It is different when the bigger the school we go to, it's different, and then the smaller school we go to, it's there's a little bit. You got more on your plate, I think, here at Riverdale than maybe Mike Morrissey had at Moline last week.
You're throwing Mike Morrissey under the bus.
He used me to get work for us of the day. Yeah. He came over to the stadium and then he was like, I'm going home. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I just took the rest of the day. I'm like, so thank you for going back to work. I love Mike. I feel bad. Earlier I tried to
You did.
And I shouldn't joke with Mike today. It's comedic timing is not great. So we appreciate you. I don't know if your boys ate all the food. I looked at the background as I loved it because they're munching away. So good luck tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And I am going to get to a post game gathering with you guys. I bailed after the MC22 game for several different reasons, but
I tried calling. You ghosted me, man.
No,
and then you called me out later.
I called you back.
Yeah,
I did. There was the injury, and then there was some other stuff. But anyways, we choked when we got here for MC22 during COVID. So the Iowa side's playing.
Yeah.
And the Illinois side's not. And they still are like, hey, you got a half-hour show that's sponsored to do. I'm like, that's tough to do with just a limited amount of games. So we did coaching challenges, and we came out here and we bowled on the track.
Soccer bowling.
Yes, it was you and who?
Coach Abbott from EP.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Who won?
I mean, I think I did. Yeah.
We'll go check the tape. I'm certain you did. So, well, Coach, I appreciate you. I got to get the old... pay bills. So we got to find the actual commercial break. There we go.
Coach, hopefully we're talking to you about 11 o'clock tonight. How's that sound?
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. I like that. I like the idea of that.
There we go. So we got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo and Greg Armstrong. That sounds nice. Right here on a Friday at Riverdale. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We are live at Riverdale High School having a bunch of fun. I got a co-host today. Greg Armstrong from View from the West is joining me, previewing week 7 of the high school football season. I've seen some messages and all those kind of things. Thank you for the kind words you're saying. Thank you for the unkind words you're saying.
Wait, they don't like me? Is that what
no. Okay. Obviously, we opened and we talked about the Alleman situation, sure. and we did it, I think, the best way we could have. So I think we'll move on because we're going to talk about everything, Western Big Six wise and all that kind of stuff today. And we're going to get into the Western Big Six, and obviously no Moline Alleman game. Moline gets that victory. They get to 6 wins on the season, all those kind of things. And I think we kind of talked about off the top, I think there's 10, 11, 12, whatever games for that team. So a really good football team. Elsewhere in the Western Big Six, it's that rivalry between Sterling and Geneseo, and two teams I feel like heading in the right direction, playing some really good football.
Yeah, I think, before the season started, I think I would have said that Geneseo is going to win that football game, just based on kind of what we knew going into the season, what we thought about.
You hear that, Schlemmer? Yeah, you hear that kind of stuff?
I'm getting to the point where Sterling has really impressed me, and it seems like there's almost like that light switch where, like, all of a sudden it clicked in with a lot of these guys, and I think when you have the confidence and the momentum that Sterling has with a well-coached team, they're a dangerous team right now. And to your point, I think both teams are playing really good football. I think they're evenly matched. I think it's going to be a great game. Good, so good that I think I'm going to be there with the camera tonight.
Are you going?
I think I'm going to go.
That's an outstanding
At least,
idea.
well, it gets tricky, right? Because I got to get home and get the show set up.
Yeah.
So I'll be there let's get started early. Let's not wait till like 7:45. Let's get that.
You hear that?
Get that fresh soft game out of the way.
Yeah.
No offense. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe just a running clock for fun.
What's it? I mean, and you look at that. You look at Geneseo, and they're going to run the football, and their running backs are really good at what they do. And then I think Sterling's done a good job of doing both. I think it's an intriguing matchup and I think you have to talk about the rivalry and say, like, it's been a one-sided rivalry of late. And
Yes.
Sterling's done a really good job. And I think it was a few years ago we thought this is this Geneseo team. I think it was 2 years ago with that senior-heavy team, Coach Johnson's last year. We thought this is the year, and Sterling comes in and beats them once again. Is there something to that where getting over the hump against a rival is probably more mental than anything else sometimes?
Well, I think it starts with getting momentum early in that game, right? You don't want to fall in a game with that much history behind it. And sometimes the players don't know that, they've only know the last 2, 3, 4
Sure.
years. But they obviously, in the back of their mind, their parents know, the coaches know, whatever. So I think that you don't want to fall behind early, though, if you're Geneseo, because I think then you start creeping in like, we can't beat this team, So you want to get that kind of confidence early. But I think it's going to be a great game. I really do.
No, absolutely. In the elsewhere in the Western Big Six, we got Rock Island in United Township and UT.
Yep.
Another one of those teams we talk, it's like a broken record, so close.
Yeah.
So 3 straight weeks with heartbreaking losses. They got to find a victory. And then Rock Island, in the same breath, looked good against Alleman. Last week struggled, obviously, against a really good Moline team.
Yeah, so I think this is the week for this United Township team to kind of, get that restart and kind of get back up to speed and gain some confidence heading into what they hope is a playoff run, right? I think that depending on the Alleman situation, if they play the game or not, I think either way, United Township should grab that win. They're going to be playoff eligible. So this is a week to kind of erase what's been happening. You've played really good football and just haven't been able to come away with victories. Now's the night to jump on a team like Rock Island early and, kind of build yourself back up a little bit.
And I'm intrigued with next week we're going to be at the Soul Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because Mr. Harding,
Yes.
Scott Harding. I almost said Brock Harding. Scott Harding is the athletic director there. It is not Brock. Brock is not the AD yet anywhere. And then Todd Thompson, the 2 ADs, are going to have a friendly wager on not just that game, but like the 2 schools in general with the boys and girls basketball. They're bringing this whole big thing, so I'm excited about that. It'll be a lot of fun next week at the Soul Bowl, and I agree. I think yes, this week is how they get back on track. I think that Alleman game, whether it's played or not, hopefully it's played, is a victory. I'm intrigued by that Week 8 game. I know we can't talk about Week 8 already, but I think it's going to be an intriguing game.
Well, I think you got to remember, right? Like
we're going to get some food here in a
second.
Oh,
yeah, let's do it.
So Mobile Party Xperience is hooking us up. Is that just all for Greg? I can help. Okay, we're going to share. I can't stress enough, obviously, when Mobile Party Xperience, fantastic sponsor of the show, and it comes out with me on Fridays and does this kind of stuff. One, like this show is powered fantastic today because of the internet.
Yes.
that he brings along with, but he's cooking. The boys got some food. I'm gonna ask you about the next game, and then I'm gonna take a big bite of this.
Well, so before we, as I said, we don't want to jump into Week 8 talk right now. But
sliders.
what I was gonna say is the thing to remember is it's been 2 hard losses for United Township. Or is it 2 or 3? 3 hard losses in a row.
Like you're looking at like 3 or 4 plays.
Yes.
To being they're a 6-0 team right now.
So that's my point, is they've come really close to winning those games. So I think the narrative is they've lost 3 in a row. But I think the talent is still there for United Township. This is the same team we talked about that Mitch predicted to win the Western Big Six. That we talked about how high we were with the talent they have.
Yeah.
So I think in a one game, you go up against the best, you go up Moline, you just you got a bee flying around, you got barbecue sauce in your pants. This is going great.
Keep talking. No, go get through it.
So I think in a one game scenario, right, your best versus their best, I still think United Township, if things fall the right way, they could still compete and come away with a win against Moline. A great Moline team.
And you said Mitch too. I mean, I hate to doesn't look great now, but I picked UT to win the conference as well. I think they're a really super talented team. They're dealing with some injuries right now. We'll see if they get back on track and can win tonight. And a Rock Island team that looked good against Alleman, but it's been a struggle this year. See if they can come out. And I think with them, it's just about a start. I think it's about starting well and getting some confidence throughout the game in order to stick with United Township as well. Quincy and Galesburg. I think Galesburg's been playing better football. I mean, they have been this year. People kind of looked at Galesburg before the season not knowing what to expect. I think coach has done a fantastic job down there. They've gotten some conference victory. They got a couple wins on the season. Quincy, though, back on track last week. That was a big win for them on the road at United Township.
Yeah, I mean, after what we saw against Moline, and it was kind of surprising. I think they were shut out, and it's credit to Moline. Moline's a really good football team, like we mentioned. But, Mitch mentioned in our show that he was really hoping to see a little more out of that Quincy squad in that game and kind of that marquee matchup. That B loves you.
I know it. And guess who doesn't love him?
Yeah, well, so they really, they needed a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence, and to go on the road against a really good. Are you gonna get it? Oh, that's live TV, man.
I hope so. It's battling. Look at it. It's battling. All right, I'm sorry.
Do a little play-by-play on that.
I like how you're being serious and talking about a high school, and I'm slapping my thigh. Thank God I didn't miss. But anyways, go on.
So
I love it.
I think that yes, that Quincy win is. The B is back again.
No, it's not. It's
a different one. We talked about the parity in the Three Rivers. How about the parity in the Western Big Six? And I think you saw it there, right? Quincy team that struggled at home against Moline, they bounce back and get a big win against United Township. Same thing we talked about with UT. If they potentially down the road, I think they can hang with Moline. That should be a great game too.
I'm really excited about that one, and I have the utmost respect for Moline and everything like that. I think it could be the rivalry. I love that rivalry as well. You look at the track, and we talked about it. Next week's going to be good because you're going to get Monmouth, Roseville, and Rock Ridge. And in all likelihood, they both wrap up a division championship tonight. And I know both teams have bigger aspirations, especially, both of them. I'm not even saying especially, but I think Rock Ridge has state championship goals as well, and they should. But winning anything is important, and winning that division is important as well. Kind of talk about that because both teams can do something tonight that's special and that's important. That shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah, I think for Rock Ridge, we talked about with Guy Dierikx what the TRAC Rock looked like this year. You're going to be battle tested every week. You're going to get a really good football team coming in and different looks, right? These teams all have a little bit of different look to them. They play a little different style. And for Rock Ridge to come away as the best out of those, I think is a statement to them. It helps them in the postseason. And to win that division and to win that side of their conference looks great. On the Monmouth-Roseville side of things, looking at them, I think them winning back-to-back, potentially if they get the win tonight, them winning back-to-back Mississippi titles for as good as Princeton has been in the last couple years, for Kewanee a couple years in there where Kewanee was really good. I think that if you look at Monmouth-Roseville kind of grabbing a hold of this conference, I think it's a statement to them and where their program's at too.
Nobody else is listening now when it comes to Riverdale, and I want to talk about this game because I think on paper you look at it and Newman's probably the favorite, one of the best teams in the state in 1A, and I think they'll be a contender in a loaded 1A. Like 1A North is just loaded. But with that being said, I think Riverdale is a really good football team. I saw them firsthand a few weeks ago. I know how good they can be offensively. I think it's going to be a really good game here tonight, and I think Riverdale has a chance to win their fifth game here tonight.
Yeah, I think the players talked about it. I think really being able to establish themselves, physicality up front. They've liked how they've played so far. You're going to have to do that against this Newman team. I look at Riverdale's defense being able to figure out if Evan Bushman really controls the game and can get the ball to his running backs, but can also throw the ball out in space to some wide receivers. I think you really you'll have your hands full, right? I think Newman can kind of spread you out a little bit if they need to. And then on the opposite side of the ball, Newman's so good defensively that Riverdale's skill players, like you said, physicality up front, but Riverdale's skill players, if they can find some seams, if they can find some things, yes, I think they can compete. They could come away with a huge win. It would be a statement win for Riverdale getting a win here over Newman. It would be huge.
And they have winnable games week 8 and week 9 as well. So I don't think it's playoffs or bust tonight, but it'd be, like they mentioned, getting an opportunity to play. They mentioned playing Rock Ridge and having the opportunity and not getting, I think they know how big of a game this is, just big picture wise, and have a statement victory tonight would be impressive. A really good game out here in Riverdale, or excuse me, in Port Byron. Last one in the track real fast, and there's a couple more, but something's got to give between Sherrard and Kewanee, both teams are winless, trying to find themselves. I think it's an opportunity for both to have that. You look at these kids, and nobody wants to not win a game the entire year. And Ty brought up on the show this week, I know Sherrard lost Carter Brown late in the Mercer County game, or they might win that game. There's the suspension weird thing when it came to the stiff arm, so they could win. They could have won a couple of close games with Mendota and Hall. Like, Sherrard's not that far away from having 3 victories right now. I think it's a great opportunity for them, and I know they know it's a great opportunity for them tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ty referenced how close they were, and I think there is something to that. Man, on the Kewanee side of things, I think there's still some individual pieces there. It's just something hasn't worked so far. I think that they're going to be motivated tonight, so like you said, to come in.
Is that at Kewanee?
I have it right here, and then put me on the spot. Hold on. I have it.
See if I can kill a bee while you're doing that.
It's at Kewanee. Yeah, so it's at Kewanee. So, I like, their opportunity at home there. Like you said, just for one of these teams that kind of figured out and feel good about themselves walking off the field on a Friday night.
Absolutely. LLC, what stands out in that conference for you as we get ready for the week 7 of the high school football season?
On the big side of things, you got Macomb going on the road to Knoxville. Macomb just had the tough loss at home to Farmington.
Closer game than what it ended up being. I know 30-16 was the final score, but a couple touchdowns. I mean, in the final minutes of the game, they were leading, I think, midway through the fourth quarter.
Yes, Macomb took a lead, I think 16-15, and Farmington came right back. And credit, I mean, they have an all-state playmaker in Jack Gronwald. They got the screen pass to him, a little bubble screen, and he got down the line, had some blocks, and went 88 yards for a touchdown.
Sure.
Then I think the next possession, Macomb threw a pick 6, and that sealed the game for Farmington. Great win for them, but to your point, to Macomb, they were battling in this one, and they were in the lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's a really good Macomb team that I like, and so can they get back on track against a Knoxville team that's played well this year? I believe sitting at 4-2 or 3-3. So, a lot to play for both of those teams. Jumping over to the small school side of things, last week I went out to Anawan for Anawan Wethersfield Stark County, and man, Anawan Wethersfield looks really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 3 running backs that can really hurt you in a variety of ways, and the way they kind of spread the ball out to them, and just the way that Coach Grip and that offense kind of moves, I was really impressed.
No, absolutely. It should be a good night in the LLC. NUIC and some intriguing, really good football teams, and that's what makes 2A and 1A really good. In the northern half. What stands out in the NUIC tonight?
I would say the headline game is probably Eastland Pearl City at Stockton. Stockton's undefeated right now, playing really good football. Eastland Pearl City just had a huge win last week to kind of get back, on track. They've played really well this season, but that's a potentially big game. Galena at Lena Winslow. Lena Winslow lost the one game to Stockton, but obviously they're playing really good football. Yeah. And Galena, I think we're still like...
Are they 3-3 on the season right now, Galena?
I would have to look.
Why are you asking me these questions? Because, I mean, I think Galena's a really good football team.
Yes.
But they still have... I mean, that's how good that conference is you can be a really good football team. You can get to 5 wins.
Yeah.
So I want to say they're 3-3 because they're, like, state-ranked still. Like, I think I still saw them in the state rankings at, like, number 10, and they're 3-3 on the season.
And Galena's 3-3. They've lost their last 3 in a row to Dupec, Foreston, and Stockton.
I mean, really good football
Really
teams.
good football team. So it's an opportunity there. They're on the road at Lena Winslow. They played them tough last year when they were at home. So I think, and then the other game.
And you don't want to put yourself in a situation where if you go to 3-4, you have to win your last 2 games. Your playoffs start next week if you can't get a victory tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And then the other game I would say to look for is Dupec at Foreston. Foreston, I think, is sitting at 4-2 right now. Last year they only won 2 games, so it's a turnaround for a program that's traditionally really good. But man, Dupec is playing really good football right now. They're really tough, and so that's that conference has intriguing matchups every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is no exception.
That conference and what Coach Dierikx said earlier about the 3 Rivers, you look at like EP doing what they did last year, almost winning a first-round playoff game. You're going to get like a team, whether it's Orion that can get a couple more wins, or Erie Prophetstown or Riverdale. You're going to get these teams, and they're going to get in the playoffs at 5-4, 6-3, or whatever, and they're going to go and give somebody everything they want, if not win a first-round playoff game, because of how good the conference is as a whole. So I want to talk about the show coming up, before we take a break. And then Tim O'Neill's going to join us. You're going to stay. We're going to do some picks and all that kind of fun stuff. But again, View from the West, instant reacts. It's kind of taken on its own life, which I think is fun. We decided to Coach Dierikx kind of jokingly, like, hopefully we talk to you tonight. And like, I think coaches realize that if you're staying up late on a Friday night to talk to us idiots, then like you did something right?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a ton of fun, and just kind of like you said, kind of what we've created. I think what's fun for me is kind of creating that like football community, right? As we have people reaching out to us on X throughout the night with scores, with everything. So I think that's fun to know that, like, you know, they can contribute in that way. We have people that can jump in and comment, and that's fun to pop up their comments on the air and react to it. I think I need to get better at asking for questions early in the show, and then getting later in the show we can kind of pull those questions back out. So I want to get into that, but it's cool to hear from coaches and potentially players and just get reactions from what they saw that night, as they're kind of decompressing and walking off the field. So
and that's one thing with this show. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know how I can do it, a way to get bees to leave me alone forever. No, but I loved sports talk radio.
Yeah.
And like, this is fun and we can do this, but it was always fun to like hear from a caller. And I'm trying to figure out a way, and that's what you can do with your show is, and it's via text. I get that, but kind of give input in that way. I'm trying to figure out a way to get it like, I don't know if you can do a call. You can't really call in and all that kind of things, but I think that's the kind of fun of what I get to do every day, and what you're doing is that we throw stuff against a wall and we see if it works. And if it works, cool, we keep doing it. If it doesn't, nobody cares. We just go on and do something different. So the non-traditional media that's becoming much more popular is something that I think is a lot of fun, and we're both enjoying. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to kill another bee. I got 3 of them already. We're going to finish our food, and we're going to be joined by Tim O'Neill. We're going to do some picks for not high school. They do that because they get all the hate. We're going to talk a little college, a little NFL. We'll get some picks in, and we'll wrap up in another edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We got more to get to right after this. We're live at Riverdale High School eating chicken sliders. That's so he used chicken thighs.
No.
And I've enough said. We'll be right back.
Hey, Quad City parents, tired of the same old weekend routine?
Yep, delicious.
All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings. The biggest and best selection of baked, simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities, OTA on the road at Riverdale High School. We've had a blast so far, and I have a co-host with me, Greg Armstrong from View from the West. He's Mr. Friday Night, is I think your new thing. Mr. Friday Night when it comes to high school football. Make sure if you're subscribed to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and thank you for everyone who has 1,300 subscribers, and it's growing and it's awesome. But if you're one of those 1,300 and you're not subscribed to View from the West, what are you doing with your life? Like, what's going on? Like, let's talk, because you should be. Of course, View from the West Instant React show coming your way at 10:15 tonight. The hottest, most popular new high school football show in the history of the world.
Yeah, I like
that.
Works?
Yeah, that works. Joined now by a fantastic dude, and then sponsor of the show with MPX, Tim O'Neill joining us. First and foremost, those chicken. That's when I texted him yesterday and I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "Chicken sliders." I'm like, yeah, and so I'm like getting ready to go to the store. It was like we were married, because I had to call him. I was like, "Honey, what do you want?" He goes, "No, get the chicken thighs." I'm like, "Yeah, chicken thighs, huh?"
Never trust a skinny chef, man. I'm telling you, I got turned on to the chicken thighs a couple years ago, and I can't remember the last time I had chicken breast for any time I've cooked or grilled.
They were delicious, absolutely outstanding. Tim, before we and I want to talk a little about MPX before we get rolling, because I got worried coming out here today. I texted Greg, I'm like, it's going to rain. Like, this equipment doesn't do well in the rain. And right away, you're like, you're good.
To be fair, you don't do well in the rain.
I don't do well in anything. But you're like, I got a pop-up tent. I got this and that. And it's just amazing, because we have the backdrop and you have the TVs. You see the stuff. You see the all those kind of things. But like this whole show's being run off the internet, and that's not easy to do. Sometimes this internet, I can tell you, this internet's better than sometimes what I have at my house. And then the tent, if you need a tent, you're like, I can throw one up if you need to. Kind of talk about some of those features that people don't really understand or maybe realize when you go with MPX and you get a Mobile Party Xperience.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the goal, is to, when you're planning a tailgate or any type of get together, it's like there's so many things, like the checklist, who's bringing what, who has what, and the tent, the chairs, the tables.
Stuff I forget about.
Yeah, right. And again, it's the all those, the coolers, do you have enough? Do you have enough space? It's the keg taps, it's the internet, it's the streaming, it's how are we going to enjoy the experience? It's the the JBL speakers sound incredible. I mean, you were telling me to turn them down. I didn't realize I even had them on.
No, I wasn't doing it. I was just weird. I started the show. I wasn't telling you to turn down for any bad reason, but it was just like, it sounds great.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that's kind of thing. Is we've been fortunate enough to tailgate quite a bit throughout my my life, and been around athletics and sports, and there's nothing worse than having something fail when you make all those plans. And so it was kind of what are those experiences? How can we create a better experience for people when they want to throw a party? And it's throwing all the tools together and making sure that we can check those things off the list for people.
And that's what I view OTA as a party, and that's what we do every Friday here. Next week we're going to be going to the Soul Bowl, UT and Moline. Excited about that one as well. When it comes to also high school football wise, I want to remind people our Nest Guest contest is up and going. You hop in, it's free to do. You make your picks, you win Hungry Hobo. Thank you to Hungry Hobo for sponsoring Nest Guest. It's been a bunch of fun. If you missed this week's segment, it was on Wednesday. Mark Nestler dropped he's over 70. And he dropped a 6'7". It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. So I think that, in just viewing that, I'm tired of that, by the way. I don't understand. I don't get it, whatever. So we bring in Tim every week to do our picks. And he just said, I wish you would let me know the games ahead of time so I could be ready for these picks. But this is the fun part about it. Surprise.
Yeah, and I wanted to throw this at you. I thought...
There's a lot of people who want to throw things at me.
As a college athlete, I was like, what? I got inside track, insider info. Like, back in the day in the 90s, I would kill it with gambling. And the best thing that ever happened to me is I just got slaughtered the first weekend of college athletics. And I'm like, what? Lesson learned. I still had enough money from a scholarship check to pay my rent for the rest of the semester.
There you go.
But it was a good lesson to be learned.
I meant to say something to Guy. You and Guy go back a little bit.
Yeah, he was long time ago, a couple moons ago. I ran a sports performance facility, and I had a lot of athletes. Had some relatives from my wife's side. I did, yeah.
What was a young Guy Dierikx as an athlete?
I'll tell you what. There were some talented kids out here in the early 2000s, and he was probably one of the hardest working, disciplined kids. I don't know what he was like. I see what I see, but for someone that's willing to make that commitment 3 times a week to come see me and make him do awful things that hurt, and he kept coming back for more. And he had a great prep career. Went on to Central College, had a great career there, and it was just neat to see him and follow his career as he's gotten into coaching. He's had some success at different places and done well.
It was crazy to hear. 22 years old when he got his first head coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, he comes from a pretty good family of coaching, so like they know what they're doing in the Dierikx family and all that kind of stuff. All right, pick time. You guys ready? Greg, you're going to pick too.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, we're going to start in college. We're going to start. We'll start with the #1 ranked team in the country, Ohio State, going to Champaign. Illinois, 2 straight impressive victories, kind of back on track. There's that 63-10 thing we don't like to talk about too much. Can Illinois shock the world and beat Ohio State? I don't know why that thing's not coming your way, but I think it's going either way. And beat Ohio State. We'll start with Greg. We'll go Greg first.
No.
He's not the best color analyst in the business for nothing right there.
I just go back to the Indiana game, and I just think like that was a prime opportunity, and it looked bad. And so I just think that Ohio State is that much better. Now, every game's different, right? A lot of times you can't make comparative scores. Yeah. This Illini team could look a lot different than that game, and they've learned from it. Maybe. Yeah. I still just like Ohio State.
It's viewfromthewest@gmail.com.
Here we go.
Is the email if you want to complain.
Yep.
Tim?
I hate picking against Bielema. He's my guy.
Yeah,
but I think this is going to be too tall of a task. They've just given up too many points and too many yards, I think, and Ohio State just exploits people. They're good. So it's going to be a tough, tall task. Even though I'd love to see it, I don't think I can pick against the Buckeyes.
I do think the atmosphere is going to be really good. And hats off to everything Brett Bielema's done. And I have an Illini helmet on my set, and that's saying something for me.
Yeah.
So I have the utmost respect for what he does. Ohio State's giving up 5 points a game on defense.
Yeah.
5 points a game, and it's not like it's 2 games in. We're 6 games into the season. They're really good defensively. They got NFL players all over the place. I think Illinois can hang tough. I think they can keep it close. I want them to do that. I think Ohio State will be too much in the end. I think there's a better chance of Ohio State winning in a blowout than there is of Illinois actually winning the game. But like I said, I hope it's a close game, but I'm going to go with Ohio State. We'll start with you with the Hawkeyes. Iowa goes up to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's struggling 2-3 on the season, but it's a night game. It's at Camp Randall Stadium. Don't know exactly what's going on with the Iowa quarterback just yet. They don't tell the pregame host anything. I don't know why. Your thoughts on Iowa, Wisconsin?
I'm going to say the Hawks are going to win in a typical Iowa fashion of we're going to hang around long enough and exploit opportunities, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to find a way to win.
Yeah, low scoring. Greg, thoughts?
I agree with that, but I think, can I kind of cop out? Because I think the quarterback is a big question. I think if he's playing and if he's healthy enough to be the playmaker, then I kind of lean towards Iowa. But if he's not there, or if he's not effective and not maybe fully healthy and just trying to go out there and get it done, then I don't.
Greg, make a pick. That's not a pick. Make a pick.
See,
you can't cop out.
Yeah.
That's like Stocking would be like, if they score enough points.
I know.
If they score more points than their opponent, I totally understand what you're saying. You're right.
I'll agree with Tim. I think that it'll be an Iowa game, right, where it'll be 10-7 or something like that. They'll get it done.
I'm contractually obligated to say Hawks by 1 million.
See,
so I'll go Iowa as well. Iowa State lost last week. And now they go on the road again to Colorado. It wasn't a Matt Campbell well-coached performance last week. I think he would even admit to that. I think they probably are coached a little different and more prepared, I think, this week. They go to Colorado, Greg, Colorado, and the Cyclones.
I'll go with the Cyclones to bounce back.
I like it.
Yeah, it's another road game, right?
Yep.
So
it's in Colorado.
Yeah, it's another road game, but I think that I expect maybe that team to kind of be refocused, or sometimes a loss kind of makes you think, or gets you back into that mindset. So I think they get the job done.
Mr. O'Neill.
I'm
Swami.
I am a Coach Prime guy to the core. However, However, I got 2 former Assumption track athletes and football guys that are on that roster at Iowa State, and Angelo Jackson and Tyler Morrow. So I'm gonna ride with my boys, and I'm gonna go with the Cyclones.
Well played to bring it back, and also I don't think Conradi, the kicker, is back, so it'll be Chase Smith, true freshman
local
from
boy.
North Scott.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to say a late field goal by Chase Smith gives the Cyclones a victory in Boulder, Colorado, and they're going to carry him off the field.
And then he joins you on Monday on the show.
Make that happen, Cyclones. I know you guys are watching it. Let's do some NFL ones before we go. Tim, I'll start with you. We're going to start with the Bears. It's a Monday night game. It's the game that no Bear fan wants to remember. It was a rematch of last year's game where the Hail Mary happened and Tariq Stevens was taunting and all those kind of things. 2 young quarterbacks from that same draft class. It's in Washington. Commanders and Bears. What says the Swamp? We got to come up with a nickname besides the Swamp. I'm going to come up with him next week.
I am
the chef.
I've been disappointed. Yeah.
The chef. That's it.
I've been disappointed so many times by my beloved Bears, and I think that
that's a shame.
It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen again. I'm going to go with Washington.
Greg, come on, give me some beer love.
The Bears are on the road at Washington again, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it's weird.
That seems weird as like a non-divisional game, like to go on the road twice. Anyway,
sorry, I didn't do it, Greg.
Wasn't me. If it was at home, then I may lean Bears, but something tells me like it's just not gonna work. They'll play well, but not good enough. I just think that, and maybe Caleb Williams will have a good game, and it's not necessarily on him, but I think, something will fall short. I just feel like I'm going to be let down, so, like you said.
Yeah, so Commanders?
Yeah, I think so.
I think this is a Caleb Williams opportunity. I'm not saying it's his only opportunity, but you looked last week, and Drake May had his signature win over the Eagles in that draft class, and you saw Bo Nix, and they beat the Eagles, and it was Drake May beating the Bills, and that was another guy in that draft class. I'm waiting for Caleb Williams' signature win. I hope it's not Week 18 against the Lions, so don't wait that long. But I think it's an opportunity for him to have that signature victory against another guy in that class that's had plenty of signature victories and won playoff games and everything like that. I don't know if it happens this week. It doesn't happen this week. I'm not saying Caleb will play bad, but I think just in general, and it's also coming off a bye week. I'm intrigued to see how Ben Johnson does coming off a bye week as well. I'm not gonna pick the Bears. I'll pick I can, but I'm gonna pick the Commanders. I don't want to do. I guess we'll do the Packers game, but it's the Packers and it's the Bengals at Lambeau Field. And Joe Flacco, the freshly traded for Joe Flacco, will start the game for the Bengals. Can we do this one quickly? Is anyone here all in favor of the Packers? Raise their hand.
I'll go with Mitch and the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, you won't. Mitch, you hear that? That's a partner right there. See? That's a teammate. Packers.
I don't want to pick against the Bears and pick the Packers. I can't possibly do that.
It's the biggest point spread of the week, 14.5 points.
I will tell you, I watched Joe Flacco in college beat my Northern Iowa Panthers in the Dome on a game-winning drive.
Was it Delaware?
Yeah. Delaware State, yeah. And I watched him break my heart, and I was like, everybody that I was a teammate with, just watch this. We didn't even say bye to each other.
He's still playing in the NFL, and you're hanging out with me and
I'm
Greg
hanging out with you on a Friday.
What's wrong with him?
I don't know. So I will tell you. So I'm throwing that out there as a nugget. However, I mean, look, we saw Baker Mayfield do it on short turnaround a couple years ago. I was at that game, by the way. I think I told you that. Out in LA. It was out in LA.
Yeah.
It was against the Raiders.
Yeah.
I was there. So I got a cool picture with him after the game and went out to was hosted nicely by Jake Gervais.
Yeah,
my son and I. Yeah,
he's one of my favorite people.
I had a great time, and my son and I go around and see stadiums and whatnot. But yeah, we got to see SoFi and the Raiders stadium. However, all that being said, Packers.
So that whole Packers, I'll raise your hand thing out the window with you and your long answer?
Yeah, long answer. I got to have some content. You guys talk, you guys all these backstories. You don't give me any prep.
Contractually obligated to have a certain amount of time every. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Packers. They're my survivor pick too. But they're my whole family's survivor. Yeah, well, not a Mitch guy in this case. One last game to get to. And it's a really good game. I'm not doing it because of the Lions, but it's Sunday Night Football. Lions at Chiefs. Chiefs are 2-3 on the season. Lions, I hate it. They're like everybody's fancy, like the herd hierarchy and all these. I'm gonna start like a Dazzo hierarchy and rank the NFL teams every week. Maybe I'll do that next week. But they're number one on everybody's, which is scary. It's just a bizarro world that we're living in right now, and the Lions are everybody's favorite team, or like they think that they're good. They go to Arrowhead at night. The Chiefs are 2-3. Chiefs aren't going to go to 2-4. That's what I hate about it. We're going to start with Tim first. Lions and Chiefs, and the line is weird too. It's like the Chiefs are favored by 2.5 or something like that.
You ever been to a game at Arrowhead?
No, I have a buddy down there that invited me to one. I think last year, and I couldn't go.
Got to make it. It's incredible.
It's amazing.
It is like you want to talk about crowd noise and how they are an impact on a visiting team. That place.
If Jake's watching this down in Kansas City, if you have an extra ticket for Sunday, call me. Go ahead.
It's incredible. It is. I think that I think they're gonna have a hard time. Man, I've been on the Lions bandwagon here.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going Chiefs.
That's why we're getting along so.
I'm gonna go Chiefs. I gotta do it.
I'll forgive you. Go ahead, Greg.
I mean, it's at Arrowhead, right? Yeah. So like that makes it tough.
Mahomes. Are they going to go 2-4? Like,
that's the thing. It doesn't.
I wanted them to win on Monday night because I didn't want to have that like in my head. Yeah. Like they're not going to go to 2-4.
Yeah, I think the Lions go in and get the job done. I think that yes, like you said, it seems like impossible for the Chiefs to go 2-4 to start a season. But maybe this is like that. Like momentum is shifting in the league, right? And this isn't the same Chiefs.
Maybe the Lions are that team that are going to win like 3 straight Super Bowls.
Oh God, I did not pick that.
I just
right
want
now.
one. I don't want to go to one. Forget that. I'm worried about the whole 2-4 thing, and like nobody ever like the Lions don't go to Arrowhead Stadium at night and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh wait, they did 2 years ago to start the season. Give me the Lions, baby!
Oh jeez.
Forward down the field.
All right, I gotta go. This is fun.
Okay, I'll stop the whole singing and all that kind of stuff. So those are our picks for this week. I want to encourage everybody. You have till Saturday at 11. I got a few people that messaged me on Sunday morning and said, "Why can't the link doesn't work?" And I'm like, "Well, because
Saturday games are over."
And I also, my wife forgot to take it down one week, and like 3 people came in and did it afterwards, and they went like 2 and 3 in college. Like it's on Sunday. Just look it up. So, anyways, 11 o'clock tomorrow is when the link comes down. Win some Hungry Hobo and all that good stuff. This has been a bunch of fun. Greg, can you take off every Friday?
Oh man,
take off every day. Off the air with Daz and Greg.
Every day,
like every single day. Tim, we appreciate you. The chicken sliders were amazing. Mobile Party Xperience. How obviously you're busy as can be, but you go to the website, all those kind of things to find out how to take this to your party as well.
Phone number, we still got a few dates left here in late October and November. So if you're thinking of wanting to have an experience with us, we'd love to figure something out.
Yeah, just call him, chat with him. He's as good a dude as you can see, and they'll figure something out as well. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, we'll be back on Monday, but Tuesday and Wednesday next week we'll be live from Carver Hawkeye Arena. Tuesday for the Women's Basketball Media Day, Wednesday for the Men's Basketball Media Day. Makes my life easier because I don't have to produce shows, but I have to worry about technology. But I might just take. Can we park this mid-court? What do you think? Like Coach Jensen will say, probably won't get away with that. But so plan on that. Enjoy your weekend and join Greg and I and Mitch and everybody else tonight on View from the West Instant React at 10:15. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys tonight, and then of course next week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.